Here's Wilmer Torres taking over. On the opening kickoff, takes up to about the 15-yard line.
Jim, a lot of stories going on here, on and off the field, obviously. Trying to do a little bit of investigative reporting. Fa having some trouble getting onto the sideline of this game, so he went back up.
Yeah?
He went up to the press box. He was not a happy camper.
Wait a minute. You mean to tell me they didn't recognize the Fa?
Well, I guess they did and they didn't, and some of the, you know, the Fa, he takes all comers, and this time I guess he took on the Union City Police. But the officials, basically what happened at the end of the second quarter, a long delay, and we're having problems right now with our monitor, but we got the blimp out right now.
We've been told the blimp is on there.
And
Jeff Hennig on his annual Thanksgiving voyage, drumstick in hand.
Captain Hennig.
Keep your hands on the controls, Jeff. So here's,
you know, it's got to be cold up there for
after the penalty, here's Heathcliff on first down for the Hillers.
You know, this game, the officials really, they want to try and make sure they get out of here with no problems. And there was some concern by them about both teams being a little bit scrappy, and they don't want to see any incidents on this Thanksgiving Day. So what happened was that after the spike, there was a little bit of a shoving match, which you pointed out, and they had 3 penalties called. They had the penalty for the spike, they had the penalty for the pushing by the one player, and then they had the third penalty by the retaliation. So basically they had the calculator out. They had to go 15 back.
Here's Heathcliff once again on second down and short.
So Ralph Lamo told me they had to go 15 yards from the 3-yard line where the 2-point conversion would have taken place, 15 yards back. Then the penalty against Emerson is half the distance. They had to figure that out, come back the other way. Then they had to mark it off the other way. So basically I said you had to do some creative math. But I said, fellas, it's Thanksgiving, and Ralph, how long is your drive after this game? And Ralph looked at me and says, I got to go to East Brunswick. I said, what time do you plan to get there? 6 o'clock? He goes, well, you know, you gotta call what you see, but don't be surprised if the second half is a lot faster than the first half. But there was an Emerson player down on the field, and hopefully he's all right. Number 36 for Emerson is banged up.
Hey, listen, I want to really just point out something. Manhattan Bagels in Hoboken on Washington Street, well, what a job they did putting together the morning spread for the crew, the talent. Use that word loosely and everybody. So Manhattan Bagels, this one's going out for you, one of our sponsors. They put together one fine Thanksgiving bagels and coffee to works this morning.
Hot chocolate.
Good job by Manhattan Bagels on Washington Street in Hoboken for all your bagel needs.
Let me tell you something. What's the mark of a good bagel, Jim? What's the mark of a good bagel?
A small hole.
That, and the fact that if it's not hot, it still tastes good. And I'll tell you what, I showed up to this game, and those bagels had been here for a while, reached my hand down into the bag, picked up a bagel, and it was almost like it came out of the oven.
Well, that's a mark of a good bagel.
It was a tasty bagel. An hour after it showed up, it still had flavor, out in the cold.
It may be Manhattan Bagels, but it's Hoboken's own. Manhattan Bagels, Washington Street in Hoboken. Here's first down and 10 for the Hillers. Munoz gives this one off. That's to Eddie Torres. Eddie Torres right side looking for room. Eddie Torres got room. Look out, Eddie Torres. Eddie Torres to the 20. Eddie Torres knocked out of bounds. A saving tackle by Jeff Pena. But Eddie Torres had himself a run there for the sophomore.
Eddie Torres showed some great speed. He got to the outside, and then it was just a foot race. He has tremendous speed as he, took the ball to the right-hand side, and then if not for Pena, he had a touchdown. That's a run that the sophomore will not forget.
Eddie Torres just slipped out of the pack as he turned the corner, and it was all sidelines from there.
So Union Hill, with 9:26 to go in the third quarter here, comes out still fired up and looking to score some more points.
Here's Munoz, hands off first down to Heathcliff. He's wrapped up right away nicely by number 56, Mo Hassan. The junior came up with a fine stop right there.
Jim, there's a lot of hitting going on after and during the play by both teams. And, you know, this is the kind of time in the game, if you're a football player, you make sure you have an eye behind yourself, because the players are getting hit from every angle on every play.
Here's Heathcliff towards the goal line. Heathcliff plunges in from 12 yards out. Heathcliff Lenore punches it in. That's our first touchdown of the second half. And the Union Hill steamrollers keep going.
Well, Jim, they are now
here he goes.
3 points shy of the 1942 record, where Union Hill beat Emerson 45-0 in a game that was just as exciting for Union Hill. And we're not sure who the player of the game was that day, because our archives don't go that far back. We tried to get the footage of the touchdowns being scored back in 1942. We were unsuccessful. But take it from me, it was a big day for the Hillers. 45-0 back in 1942. So this class right now for Union Hill, the class of 96, can say that they, they scored the most points against an Emerson team on Thanksgiving Day if they get another touchdown or another field goal. And that would, I'm sure, make some Union Hill players happy. Go down in history.
You think they're aware of it?
You know what? I think that in the locker room, there's probably a coach somewhere who probably looked at the back of the Emerson Union Hill series and knows that Emerson beat Union Hill 63-0 and that Union Hill beat Emerson 45-0. Those jump out at you.
Well, Chris Moyano, if there's any down area, here's a fake right here. Jose Munoz into the end zone, caught complete. That's a 2-point conversion to Hugo Dominguez. Another sophomore, as penalties will fly once again. Probably a little more extracurricular activities, but...
Well, you wanted to know if they know about it. Well, they're setting up for an extra point, and they're running a fake extra point. So do you think they're looking to score some more points?
Well, it's funny because the kicker, Chris Moyano, just threw the tee out of anger towards the sideline. So I don't know, maybe if that was an ad lib by Munoz calling it on his own right there, but I think Chris Moyano expected to kick that ball.
I think
he's still standing out there. He's the only Union Hill player still on the field.
Well, it's a big day. He's kicking, he wants to go out there. He wants to put one right through the middle of the goalposts and get the ball taken out from him.
Nevertheless, the 2-point conversion puts our score at 44-0.
Congratulations to Hoboken High School.
Oh, boy. Eddie Stinson,
27 straight victories, goes up to Ramapo High School. And look at Frankie. Frankie, I tell you, let me tell you something about Frankie right now.
That's Frankie's owner.
Can you tell the score on Frankie's face? Can you tell that inside of that bulldog, he's just dying inside? And you know what? That bulldog's got some heart because he wants to get out there right now.
What is it about the look of a bulldog? There's just something about them. They belong on the football sideline.
I tell you, that bulldog is dying inside.
Woo!
Smile,
Frankie.
I saw Frankie at halftime.
Smile, buddy.
Rubbed up against my leg. And,
oh, yeah?
Well, and, said, Frankie, next year's your year, buddy.
I told Frankie, I pointed you out before the game, and I said, Frankie, see that guy? That's a fire hydrant.
That's why he was so close. There's a smart bulldog for you, I tell you.
Penalty is marked off against Emerson. Union Hill kickoff from the Emerson 45. This kickoff will blast into the end zone, and
wow, nice kick.
Bulldogs let it drop.
I think you hit it right on the head there, as Chris Moyano was a little upset not having the extra point kick, and he took it out on the kickoff. So Hoboken advances to the finals of the state playoffs for the third consecutive year.
Going for the trifecta.
They go and play at Giant Stadium against Passaic Valley. They are undefeated. They've won 27 in a row. And they're the #1 team in New Jersey.
Charting new waters into the Star Ledger Bowl.
So a proud moment for Hudson County, as, you know, whether you like Hoboken or not, you got to be pulling for them because they represent Hudson County on Sunday, December 8th, 1 o'clock at Giant Stadium, as you see.
They have a new quarterback into the game.
We'll get into the new quarterback in a second. He is a freshman quarterback, Jim, and his name is Mark DeBrecki. And Mark is playing now for the future of Emerson. DeBrecki's team was 7-1-1 during the season, threw 10 touchdowns, threw for 1,000 yards. His head coach, Tony Ragone, said he will be unfazed by playing here in the second half. He's a pretty good kid, very good athlete, plays 3 sports, so they're going to let the kid go out there and see what he can do.
And there he is, and he just fumbled off the exchange right there, and the Hillers are going to come up with this one. So DeBrecki will remember his first series as a varsity quarterback as they're not the greatest.
Well, it's not how you start, Jimmy.
That's right.
It's how you finish. But back to Hoboken for a second. So Hoboken having a chance on December 8th, led by Rayvon Anderson and
Keon Walker.
What a
day. An 82-yard run to cap it off.
They get to play for the chance to win their 3rd state championship and finish the #1 team in the state of New Jersey. That would be a tremendous accomplishment. And they made the most movement on another poll this week as they moved in on that MSG Daily News poll. They went from the about the 12th position to the 5th position. So they're even moving up on Mike Quick's poll.
Here's a first down for Hillers. New QB in. And you'll recognize the QB as number 15. How can we forget Juan Colon after his interception spike that set off the flurry of penalties and put this game in a bit of a delay? But Eddie Stinson and Hoboken, what a victory as they went up into Bergen County and avenged 2 earlier losses.
And who did they beat?
To Ramapo and Chris Sims, the sophomore son of Giants legendary quarterback Phil Sims,
who some people think at this stage is better than his father when his dad was in high school.
Here's a handoff inside of Nicky Palat left side. A Ramapo team that was undefeated, had posted 5 shutouts, is led by Sims and running back Greg Toll, who's the son of Hackensack High School head coach Greg Toll Sr., and who's taken his team in for a 5th straight Group 4 title next week. I mean, and they went in there and got a big victory and just grounded out. Big plays by all those featured running backs. Anderson with a big kickoff return of 90 yards, set up 1 touchdown. Keon Walker with an 82-yard touchdown. Just a special win for Hoboken. Here's a handoff inside with some room. Plunging towards the goal line is Fred Malpica, we'll call it.
Jim, you speak of the game like you were there, but I know you were, what, how many miles away?
I was pretty far away.
You were in Hawaii.
About 10 hours by plane.
That's about as far as you can get. But
not far enough away to call the record sports line to find out the scores, which I did.
And you know, the most impressive thing is that you called me and not even collect from Hawaii to find out what the scores were of the day. So Jimmy Cavallo, he's a dedicated play-by-play guy here in Hudson County.
Here's 4th down for the Hillers. Cologne at QB, 4th down, inside, handoff inside, heading towards the goal line. Pay dirt for Fred Malpica, and the junior will get himself on the board here on Thanksgiving.
And Fred will be the player that put Union Hill over the top, as Union Hill now becomes, or this Union Hill team now becomes the team that will go down in the record books as scoring the most points for Union Hill on Thanksgiving Day. The record was 45. Now there's one more that stands in the way, Jim. 63.
All right. And
63 by Emerson in 1952. And I know that there's one person out there in the audience, legendary coach Pep Novotny, who was the coach of Emerson that day.
And here's the only game within a game left as Union Hill's going to be whistled for delay of game. Chris Moyano's coming out for an extra point, something he has not been able to accomplish yet.
Well, my point about Pep Novotny being the coach of Emerson back in 1952, he still comes to every game. He was my football coach back in 1983, but you know it would break the heart of Pep Novotny to see Union Hill score more than 63 points there today.
So after the penalty, here's Moyano. He's going to get one. It turned into a 25-yard attempt, and he got it. So Chris Moyano will get himself on the board.
Another flag flies. But good job by Chris because he persevered, Jim.
Yes, he did.
And my point before was it's not how you start the day, it's how you finish. And he went wide right, he went wide left, and then he straightened it out.
Straightened it out.
And that's a lesson there. Lesson to be learned.
And to no surprise of anyone here today, a penalty on the play.
I asked the officials.
Someone has got to be charting these penalties because this has got to be approaching not only a Jersey record, it might even be a national record. Take another look at the touchdown by Freddie Malpica just a moment ago. Freddie, the junior, bangs forward, keeps the legs chugging, and gets in to the promised land.
He was finally brought down by another freshman, Elvin Espinosa of Emerson, but he was already in the end zone. So a lot of people getting some playing time now for both these teams. Talking to the officials at halftime, said, fellas, you realize it's Thanksgiving? And they were kind of getting on each other about the flags that were thrown in the first half. They were like, maybe we did throw one too many. But I just wanted to make sure for the record that they all had some driving to do after the game, and it wasn't like they had no place to go.
Well, it is getting colder here today, so they might want...
Cold? What about this blanket that Jimmy Cavallo has? Can we get a shot of this blanket? Big
got
Jim.
The blanket out.
Big Jim.
This is what happens when you spend 4 years together doing the broadcast.
You get this blanket.
You get up close and personal. I got the hat going now.
Got it.
The gloves.
Got a blanket.
Stand down a little bit, Bernie. Let me look underneath.
You got to get the feet covered.
Feet under there.
They're covered now.
We spare no expense.
And
it's
I tell you what,
cozy.
the fact that he comes from Hawaii, you got a little thin blood right now working for Jim Cavallo.
Here's a short kick fielded by Cyrus Jacquemon.
That might be the best field position of the day for the Bulldogs.
Cyrus Jacquemon.
Well, starting field position.
And you're right, it will be, as they are inside the 40-yard line, about the 39.
Look at Frankie. Frankie the Bulldog trying to keep him occupied. They got a little tennis ball now. He's chasing up and down the field.
I love Frankie's sweater.
Can we get a shot of Frankie the Bulldog in the end zone right now?
Look at him go, that little Frankie.
Watch Frankie. Right after this play. Right after this play.
First down play. Back in there is the freshman, Mark DeBrecki. DeBrecki hands off inside. Oh, hit hard, and right away is the running back. There's some bodies are still flying around in there.
You got to give credit to the Union Hill defense, Jim. They have not let up.
Motion. There's Joel Velez who's on that carry.
They have not let up. Oh.
There's Frankie. Oh, he's got his
ball. Look at Frankie.
He's in the end zone right now.
Give that Bulldog a football. Yeah.
He's got his sweater on.
No. Is that a mean Bulldog or what?
Man, get that guy in a Red Dog commercial.
Let me out there, Coach. I'm telling you I can make a difference.
Frankie, here's second down for the Bulldogs. Once again, DeBrecki. DeBrecki, he's back to pass. DeBrecki holds on to it. DeBrecki will keep it. Look at the freshman. Put the stiff arm right into the defender's face. All right, Frosh.
And yes, another flag.
Oh, man.
You know what, Jim? If Emerson scores a touchdown, now, I don't want to put a damper on this Union Hill record here, but it would erase the greatest margin of victory by Union Hill over Emerson. Right now, it's 45 points. And I believe that this penalty is going to be against Emerson.
So you tell me there's a little pressure on the freshman?
Well, Emerson gets a touchdown, and then they were on the record book, and they go off the record
Here we
book.
are again.
Jimmy Cavallo.
Do I look like I'm ready for...
Is it really that cold? I mean, come on.
I look like I'm ready for the cross.
I mean, you got this
Alaskan.
thing here. I mean, the scarf is a little bit too much. I mean, come on.
Listen, Jack, like I said...
You weren't born in New Jersey, right?
I've been in 85, 90 degrees for 2 weeks. This is like shock therapy to me right now.
I mean...
We're also 20 feet up in the air.
Toughen up a little bit. You know what I'm saying? The hat. Don't you think it's a little bit too much?
All right, look at these guys. They're bundled up. All right, maybe not as much as me. Oh, all right. Hey,
there's a lot of hitting going on over there. All right, fellas, break it up.
Penalty was on the Bulldogs, third down and heap. Little screen pass, thrown outside. Complete that time to 20. Jose Brito. Jose Brito had a little room, but he's tripped up just short. The ball came loose. We'll see what happens. Oh, man, another flag comes flying out.
But how about the pass from Mark DeBrecki?
There it is, his
the
first
freshman
completion.
goes back to pass, saw his receiver open, and it's not a difficult game, Jim. He threw him the football. And you know what? Emerson got a positive play out of it. Watch, DeBrecki back to pass, sees his receiver open, got him the football, didn't throw it to him over his head, didn't throw it to him at his toes, and he gave the kid a chance, Brito, to make a positive play.
Well, the only thing that stopped that from being a first down was a nice tackle right there on the Union Hill side.
Jim, it's going to be a first down.
Lewis Campbell.
It's going to be a first down. After the penalty, we're going to have a first down.
Of course. Well, there's...
And DeBrecki now probably feeling a little better about himself. He started the game with that fumble. Started the second half, his first drive with a fumble, but he's starting to...
Frankie got in a little trouble. I don't think he's getting a summons there.
I'm telling you right now, if they take Frankie away...
That's a good sign when the cops are rubbing your ears that you're not in any trouble.
All right.
Here's DeBrecki once again to throw. DeBrecki's got a man right there. That same man, Brito. Brito to the outside. Get in there, Jose. Brito towards the goal line. Just out of bounds.
Again, Mark DeBrecki put the ball where it had to be. And I tell you what, that young freshman may have something to look forward to, and so does the Emerson coaching staff. Because let me tell you something. He's coming out here on Thanksgiving Day, 78th game, and he's laying it on the line. Put two passes right where it had to be, and he gave his running back a chance.
Jose, so close. So close to breaking the plane of the goal line, as Emerson will call a timeout now.
Let's see the young freshman run one right up the middle here. A little quarterback
strategy
sneak.
together.
You know what the problem with that play was, Jim? Not only did he not get in the end zone.
Let's take a look at Frankie Johnson, and Frankie's had about all he can take today. His career as a Bulldog will come to an end, but guy who played with a lot of motion, a lot of heart. He went out there and gave it his all every time, and you can appreciate that guy. Nice job, Frankie Johnson, as an Emerson Bulldog.
Jose Brito, short of the touchdown, also stopping the clock.
3:13 to go here, third quarter.
Nice effort, though, by Jose Brito on those last two
He was going hard right there. Good to see it. Miami Express, we'll put Anthony on that with some warm thoughts right after the game. Yes, sir. Miami Express. So here come the Bulldogs. Joel Velez and Kenny Anoa out of the I formation. The freshman, Mark DeBrecki, stands over center. It's DeBrecki. You called it. You seen it. Touchdown for Tony.
Good job by Bruce Nascimento and Kevin Carroll, the offensive coordinator. They gave the kid a shot, to do something that he can work all next season on, something to remember, something to build on. He let the young freshman, really, who put him in a position to get down there, score a touchdown.
And that's nice. As you say, here's a guy who walks the halls as a 9th grader, but when he heads to class on Monday morning after the short Thanksgiving break, he could hold his head a little high because he took one in for the varsity.